We have been together for 13 years, married for 5. We moved to a new city in the North Midwest 4 years ago to be closer to her family. I am from the PNW and she is from the small town we just moved to. Before we were married, we had intimacy issues. She was never into it and our libido seemed to always be out of sync. She never wanted to have sex, and when we did, I could tell that she wasn't into it. And that made me feel gross. Sometimes she would tell me to just come already after a few minutes, or I would just pretend to come. So I stopped pushing for it. I guess I just accepted that I live in a sexless marriage. We went to couples therapy 6 times, and it was like I was talking to a wall. Only in the last session did she start to open up. And then we stopped because we couldn't afford it. She has the classic Midwest mentality of bottling emotions and avoidance. My family is very open, blunt, and loud. We have had many fights where she says shitty, mean things, and then I explode, start to yell, and have to walk away. She is a stay-at-home mom that just started an independent cleaning company, and I have a professional 8 to 5 job. I don't have any community or friends in our new city and have been very depressed for the last year and a half. Last year, we are still having intimacy issues, probably exaggerated now because now we have a 3-year-old kid. One day, we were driving to a cabin for a weekend vacation with her parents and sisters, and she dipped out of the car into a gas station, leaving her phone. I've never snooped through her phone before, but it was sitting on the passenger seat. It pinged. I looked over to see who was texting her. A rando name came up that I've never heard of before. She gets in, we start to drive, and I ask, "Hey, who's Todd? You just got a message." She immediately tells me that it was someone she met on Tinder. My heart exploded. She tells me that she got drunk with her sisters a while back and got on Tinder for a confidence booster. We got into a big fight because she was saying it wasn't a big deal, and I turned the car around to our house. I got out after yelling at each other in front of our toddler and told them to go to the cabin without me. I just couldn't be around her or her family. I felt betrayed and broken. Next month, I caught her texting that dude when our whole family was watching a movie. I just looked over and saw that name on phone. I told her to stop and that this is cheating. She denied that it was, but says she would stop immediately. 10 months later, we were drinking after our son was in bed, and she got really upset at me over something mundane and stormed upstairs. I waited half an hour to cool down, then went upstairs to say I'm sorry and good night. I could hear the sounds before I got inside. When I opened the door, I saw her spread out on her back under the sheets moaning with the phone in her hand. I gasped and said something like, "What the fuck?" I could hear a dude's voice on the phone saying, "What's happening? Hello?" I slammed the door and went downstairs. She came down and said something like, "We need to talk." We both decided that we are drunk and should talk in the morning. Things tend to get loud if we're drinking. The next morning, we let our son watch a movie and sit in the back room to talk. She tells me that she wants a separation. I was on board with that, but as we kept talking, she tells me that she wants to have lots of anonymous sex with other men. That is her kink. That she gets off doing it in public. Given our background of only doing it a few times a year, I was shocked. She said when she was in college, she had sex with close to 100 men, lots of one-night stands. I was and am still completely shocked by this discovery. We talked about our past when we first started hooking up, and we talked about previous lovers. My count was like 8, and she said hers was a lot. I tried to get her to talk, but I remember her just dropping it, saying, "A lot, I don't know." At the time, I figured a lot was like 20 or something, not 100. Being from the Midwest and never having wild or kinky sex with her, I figured she was just more of a non-sexual person than me. After this discovery, I was heartbroken. I felt like I didn't even know my wife. I left the next day to be with my family and friends in the PNW. I need space and to get my bearings. It's been 3 weeks and we haven't talked that much. I wrote her a long letter and said I'm in process mode and I'm still trying to make sense of all of this. She responded a few days later and blamed me for everything, the way I treat her, my depression, and didn't once say I'm sorry or take any accountability for our fights and for her cheating. She's not the person I thought she was. I feel like I never really knew her at all. It's been nearly 14 years. I feel totally crushed by this betrayal. I understand that she is probably going through a lot of changes herself, but she has cut me out of her life when she started micro cheating, which led to what I only assume is an affair with multiple dudes. She has been lying and now refuses to tell me any details about anything. I wish I could just walk away, but we have a son together and I need to be in his life. She says she doesn't want to leave her family, and now I'm stuck in this shitty town because I can't imagine leaving my son to go back to the PNW alone. Splitting custody between states is not what I want for my son. I'm ready for a divorce, but I'm still hurt that I've been lied to for so long. Walking in on her in our bed was traumatizing. I'm not looking for advice. I have a game plan for divorce. I just needed to vent and say, WTF.